Coming up on the next episode of the Celsius Pod.
Also, I want to say this really quickly. Guys, there is so much Voss Water product placement.
Funny. She drinks 8 glasses of Voss in this movie.
I should give my thoughts on this movie. Now, this movie is absolute cinema.
It's not absolute cinema.
Word of the day today, convoluted.
It's convoluted. Repeat it with me, guys. Convoluted.
Convoluted.
Spelled L-V-I-N-T-E-D. Convoluted.
Guys,
Beckett doesn't work if you sing along with
Is it 99?
It's
It is
99. Like the red balloons floating in the summer sky.
99
movie.
goof balloons.
Like if you subscribe if you know that song.
okay,
Who doesn't know that
guys,
song? Okay,
don't
guys,
know,
it's
Beck,
57
probably.
degrees Fahrenheit in Belgrade, and its temperatures are going to drop tomorrow.
Oh wow,
Ooh.
it's 63. It's 63 where I
pulling
am.
up
Same
the
here.
Boston weather.
Wow.
62 degrees.
You know, Uri, maybe we're not so different, you and I. Our temperatures are the same. Our movie ratings have been the same. Maybe we're closer than we first thought.
Maybe we're now the Celsius Pod duo, really.
Maybe. I don't know.
We're watching
Beck-
the same movies. We're watching
Giving it the same reviews.
Yeah.
Beck needs to catch up.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
are you doing these days?
I have school.
I
also
have
have school.
too.
I have a midterm this week.
It's just this 1 week has just been fucking killing me, so I haven't been able to go to the theaters. But
Can't relate because this weekend I locked in so hard and got all of my college essays done. Except for 6.
nice.
I still gotta get my Virginia and my Washington, but those are
Whoa.
both
You still
November
didn't get
15th.
his virginity?
Virginia.
Oh, me too.
Virginia Tech and
Virginia.
University of Washington are November 15. And,
Guys, I feel like 99 is something special, but I don't know.
But it's not. It's really lame, actually.
it's one
I feel like
before the special.
100.
What
should
are we
be
doing for
special.
100 again? What's the special for 100?
Oh,
Who
we
knows?
find out next episode, Nikola.
It's a surprise.
Perhaps
just
it's Celsius Pod Puzzles, Celsius Pod Karaoke, Celsius Pod Laser Tag,
Laser
Celsi-
tag? How would that work over the
Yeah.
online?
Celsius Pod Chess.
That's
What if
so
it's
funny, man.
Chess?
What if it's online Cards Against Humanity and Uri just wrote up a bunch of cards?
About Celsius happening, but they're
Exactly.
fucked up.
Exactly.
Mm.
Like he says,
Ah.
like half the cards are just Beck kills himself.
What if we just committed crimes?
What if you made the
Celsius-
Celsius Pod
Ooh.
video game with 4 playable characters?
That'd be crazy.
Who knows? The
Bro became a
possibilities
CS
are and
I wouldn't say endless like that, but sure, I agree with you. For the
Well,
most
let's
part.
get into some news.
News.
Yeah. So, guys, we all know the story of Carrie, correct?
Like
Yes.
the girl of the movie.
Yeah,
The movie.
Like the girl, like the movie, like the Stephen King book.
Sure. Yeah.
No.
So, you don't know the story, Beck.
No.
It's about a
No.
girl who gets bullied for being a girl in a small town, and she gets bullied for it.
And she has powers, Beck.
It's like Matilda, except for adults. Well,
So it's
I'll
like
get into
Life
it.
is Strange.
Beck, you do not do this fucking transition to me now. I'll talk about Carrie because I actually watched it this week. But there is going to be a Carrie TV show by Mike Flanagan. He's a big horror guy in the genre right now, and he's doing one for Amazon Prime, so that's pretty interesting.
very good.
Let's see what else. Apparently, the
Did we talk about
East-
the Invincible trailer? Like that
Yeah, I
just
don't think
officially
we
came
kind of
out?
Yeah.
did. We talked about the leaks about it, but we didn't talk about the actual trailer.
But yeah, no, it's official.
it's
Yeah.
official.
Wow.
I mean, I
February-
called it. I said that they're probably going to release the trailer soon because of it.
And then they
Yeah.
did.
Wow.
There's going to be a new CEO of Disney
That's kind of cool.
Announced 2026. No more Bob Iger, but
I
You'll
hope
probably-
that once this new CEO leaves, Bob Iger comes back a third time. I think that'd be really funny.
He
I think
is
they
gonna
need
do
to get
that.
another guy named Bob.
I hope it's another Bob.
Yeah.
Tom Holland has been cast in Christopher Nolan's new movie.
With Matt Damon as well.
Yeah, we
And
don't know the plot. I've been hearing
about
different
vampires.
rumblings. I've been hearing there's a TV show called The Prisoner that was rumored that he's going to do a reboot of the Prisoner show. There's going to be a rumor that it's espionage, like James Bond,
I saw that it was like a
or
vampire
horror,
movie.
or horror. So we don't really know what's going on.
I literally am saying that I saw that it was a vampire movie, like set in Victorian ages.
I'm not seeing that information, Aiden.
I literally saw it on like discussing. Let me go find it. Hold on.
Okay, other news.
Let's see.
Okay, it does. Okay, never
The
mind.
day the
it does
Earth
say
blew
rumor.
up. Got a release date.
Yeah, and it's next fucking year. God damn it.
I'm
Craig of the
yeah.
Craig of the Creek. Let me talk about that.
Yes, I
Guys.
do.
Guys, remember Craig of the Creek?
I
So
remember
did
Craig of the Creek.
I. So did I about a month ago when I remembered, wait a minute, wasn't the rest of season 6 supposed to drop in late September? And then they didn't drop. And then last week, they got shadow dropped onto Max only in Europe. So they're out there, but I can't watch them. The
Get a VPN.
last 6 episodes of the show are just I can't see them. Fucked up.
Nice.
And I did say you can use my VPN if you want to watch them.
Well, I'd
It's a
like to watch
protest,
them,
Beck,
but I
it's a
can't
pro-
maybe this week.
He's doing a protest against it, really?
Oh yeah, no.
I'm not
I-
protesting it. Although I would protest Max if it didn't have good movies and shows
He
on
would
it.
Yeah.
suck David
Guys,
Zaslav off.
I love
No, I wouldn't. I would
protesting
tear
when
it off.
when I lose nothing.
Yep.
I have been protesting a lot of stuff. I've been protesting Panera Bread.
Why?
Because of the charged lemonades?
Yeah, no. After I want them to bring back the death lemonade, and they haven't done it, so I'm not going to Panera Bread.
He protests women all the time.
Yeah, that's why he hasn't dated any.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the negotiations go well and the protests can stop. But
The negotiation.
the
What are you,
negotiation.
Star Wars?
guys, Beck was on the side of the executives in the writer's strike and the actor's strike.
So
He was
true.
on the executive
He
side.
would be because his dream job is to be
Yeah,
an
no,
executive.
I famously made a video for In Focus saying how good the executives were.
You
He
did say
supports
that.
the AMPTMP, you know?
Yep.
Talking about In
Yeah.
Focus, I think it's really funny how they're still using the intro you made, so you're kind of like a permanent part of it until
I am. And
Until they
their
decide to make
set
a
is
better one.
something I created.
You created that?
Yeah.
And they're Mogurt.
Yeah.
But let's get into some solo watches. Who wants to go first? Nikola, I assume you probably have the least, so you can go.
He's watched nothing.
Yeah.
Is he just not listening?
So Aiden, you can go.
All right.
You picked him right as he started chewing gum. This is not a good idea.
All right. What do I have
This
that's a
is-
solo?
Guys, okay, I can go first. If I have to.
Yeah, you
So-
go first, Beck.
I would like to tell a funny story about what happened before the podcast.
It might not be that funny if it comes from Beck, but we'll see.
So,
Probably butcher
as
it
you
the way
guys
Beck does.
know, I tend to take naps a lot. You know?
What?
So,
What?
Is it? Do you have an
Whoa.
iron deficiency? Maybe.
I do not have an iron deficiency.
Beck, are you narcoleptic?
No.
Insomnia.
Okay, but for a class, I had to watch Singing in the Rain, and I'm like, I kind of don't want to watch Singing in the Rain alone.
But that's a great movie.
I would have watched it with you.
Okay, the next time.
Yeah.
But so I say to my friends, hey, let's meet up at 7 to go watch Singing in the Rain. And I get out of my class at 4:30, I think. So I'm like, I'm gonna take a quick and wait, no, I got out at 5:30, and I'm like, I'm gonna take a quick hour-long nap.
Do you have a timer?
I do have an alarm set. It's the alarm set for 6:40, or it's set for 6:50. But at 6:40, my roommate does this.
Oh my god, what is up? Oh my god, what is up? How are you doing? You have a video assignment in 20 minutes.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Doesn't hit if
And
it's not the
those
Celsius
stories.
pod, you know?
So he woke you up?
Yeah.
Beck, I expected him to like startle the fuck out of you.
Yeah,
That's
it
what I
sounds
was
like he
expecting.
just shook you awake gently and you freaked out.
Yeah.
How did he know you had a video assignment in 20 minutes? You had a
Because
video
my friend called him and was like, "Wake up, Beck Lyons."
Yeah.
Okay, so transition into Singing in the Rain.
Wow. I like it.
So this movie is kind of like Babylon.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
better than
Lost
Babylon.
me already. Because I know you're wrong.
Beck,
The
this
thing is,
supremely
I'm
better than
right.
Babylon. Singing in the Rain is
It's
better
not
than
as good as
Babylon.
Babylon.
It's way better than Babylon.
You haven't seen Babylon or Singing in the Rain.
I have seen Singing in the Rain. I saw it like a year ago, but
Okay, then watch Babylon. So they're both films about.
What is he babbling on about?
So they're both films about actors trying to go from the silent era of movies to the talkies, and how, like, for one actor that doesn't really work out and they have to try to help her improve, but then they just decide to drop her to instead. It is a movie where a bunch of random stuff happened that does not progress the plot forward, but looks really cool.
As opposed to Babylon.
That's how movies like that work from that era.
Yeah.
Beck, are you going to watch Sunset Boulevard?
No.
You should watch Sunset Boulevard. That's a good movie.
I'm not gonna watch Sunset Boulevard. But I mean, like, it was a good movie. I liked the musical numbers. It was cool.
Is that the one with Good Morning? Good morning.
Good morning.
It
It's great.
is.
Stay up late. Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning,
also the one
USA. I have a feeling that today is gonna be a wonderful day.
Okay.
He doesn't even get the lyrics right. Oh my god.
Yeah, I've never watched the show.
Next thing I watched High School Musical 2.
Why?
Without having seen the first one?
I watched the first one 2 weeks ago. I talked about it on the podcast.
You did talk about it in.
Yeah.
But I watched the sequel for the first time and I thought, hey, this is a really good movie.
Is it better than the first one?
I think maybe slightly, but I'd maybe put them on like a similar level.
I know a lot of people who like the second one more than the first one.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm one of those people, even though I'm a Sharpay fan and she's more highlighted in the movie.
Isn't there a scene in the second one where the guys, they switch shirts? There's two guys and they switch shirts.
I don't know.
I'm not
I don't
going
think-
crazy here. They switch shirts.
I think you're going crazy.
No.
No idea what the fuck he's talking about.
I gotta send an image. Talk about High School Musical 2. Why do you like it, Beck?
So it's good. The musical numbers are really good. I think you could definitely tell they like got a lot more budget, so like the numbers are a lot more extravagant. I feel like they go a good direction with the plot, and it has like a good emotional climax.
If I had a nickel for every song entitled Fabulous that Ashley Tisdale was a part of, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
The one thing that was crazy to me was, you know, the song at the end of the movie they sing every day?
Sure.
Was like when I watched them do that song in High School Musical the series, I thought it was an original. So it was really weird to see that it was actually from High School Musical 2.
Oh my god. That's insane.
But Yeah. Next thing I watched.
Wait, guys, I found what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Guys, he didn't find it. He's still looking.
it's there. It's in the. It's. I'll show it on screen. You see, they switch shirts.
Oh yeah, no, that is like thematically important.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's like it's like the sports and the theater like aligning, so they swap costumes.
Yeah.
Um,
But also
next-
like, but also Ryan is totally gay. So like, why
They're
didn't the other?
lovers.
No, because he has a girlfriend.
He's
So
closeted.
maybe.
okay, next thing I watched. Now you guys know what my favorite specific type of movie is.
Ones where
Animations.
they longingly have a conversation over a reflective body of water.
Yes,
Yeah.
but also
Time loop.
Damien Chazelle movies.
okay, both those are right. But I watched a time loop movie, one of
It
the
was
big
2 out of-
ones.
2 out of 3.
Happy Death Day.
That's a
Wow.
good one. I watched
I've
it
heard
pretty
about
good.
that.
I watched the second one
I
in
think I've
theaters.
watched that before.
It's a good movie.
That's one I wanted to watch, but I didn't because
Yeah.
it was a horror movie.
And
Okay,
they
should I
play with it-
break down the plot or should I just give my thoughts?
Just break.
Just give thoughts.
Just give thoughts because essentially
Okay,
the plot is
yeah.
like she dies. And it's like a horror
It's
movie.
yeah, it's a time loop, but like the loop resets every time she's killed. I thought it was good. It was very funny. It was not like a horror movie. It was like
Or
a
comedy.
it's kind of like Scream, where it's like has like some scares, but it's mostly just comedy, you know.
Yeah.
I
Um,
see.
Doesn't the movie have
yeah.
like a twist in it?
it does.
Isn't it that her
And I-
friend is the murderer?
No.
I don't know.
But
It's
yeah.
it's kind of weird because it's like they just like bring something out of nowhere and it's kind of confusing. But
I mean that's most like time loop movies though.
yeah, but overall, I mean, it was insanely entertaining. I love time loop movies, and I feel like this is a worthy addition to the annals of time loop history.
Do you have like a letterbox list of time loop movies?
I'm making one. I want to watch like all the big ones. I think I'm definitely doing Happy Death Day to You. And then what's another big one I need to watch?
Groundhog's Day.
I've seen Groundhog's Day, Aiden.
Oh, did you watch that one on Hulu with the guy? What's his name? I think you watched it.
You mean Palm Springs?
No, not Palm Springs.
Have you watched the one with Huey, Dewey, and Louie where they wish that Christmas is every day and they're like, oh fuck, this is actually terrible?
Beck, did you
12
watch?
Days of Christmas?
With Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
I saw the I looked at the letterbox list of all of them. That was on there.
Did you
Mhm.
watch Edge of Tomorrow?
I had seen Edge of Tomorrow.
Boss Level?
No.
Boss Level, that's the one.
Okay. Next thing I watched South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut.
Re-release?
Yeah, and I
Now
thought-
that-
I saw your review and I know you're wrong.
What did you review?
I said half expected Cartman to rip the N-word and go Super Saiyan. You disagree with this.
No, I'm saying that I disagree with a 3 out of 5.
Okay. Have you seen the movie?
No, but I know that it's good.
Yeah, no, it was good.
That's not a good scale. That's not a good score, Beck.
Oh my god.
That's like mid.
You got. I liked the movie. I thought it was good. The musical numbers were good. It just like didn't leave an insanely like big impact. It was like entertaining, but I like forgot a lot of the stuff right after I watched it.
I think it's probably because you haven't seen South Park.
I've seen a couple of South Park episodes.
Oh yeah,
I wanna yeah.
Oh yeah, what happens to Kenny?
He dies and tries to go to heaven, but he gets banished down to hell.
Yeah, but what like in
Yeah,
general?
but he doesn't
what
get
happens?
why that happens.
Jesus fucking Christ. Beck.
That guy's not in this movie. They have Satan.
No, Beck. Kenny dies in every episode of South Park.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why in one of the I think the game where there's superheroes, it's like that one of the parts of the game is that like he literally just has a real superpower. And his
Yeah.
superpower is that he can just come back to life.
Yeah.
He's like the only person in the game that has a real superpower.
That's cool.
Yeah. That's why Kenny dying for real is pretty out there because Kenny actually fucking dies. And then in the season after the movie came out, he's not in it.
Oh my. Wait, I didn't know that.
Did he
Yeah.
return?
He does come back like a season after. And then they've
Yeah,
cut down.
I mean,
they've
like-
cut down now on like killing Kenny. That's not like something they do often anymore.
Yeah, no, because I haven't I don't like watch it in order. I've seen like random episodes from like season 20. So like I don't know that.
This guy watches it on TikTok.
That's like the most well-known thing about South Park.
That
Is
is
oh
not
my
the
god,
most-
we killed Kenny. Those bastards. That is the most.
That is not the
no.
most.
It really is.
It
though.
really
it.
is.
Well, I
Okay,
think maybe
fine.
Cartman's just evil or something like that. But
Okay, those are all my singles.
Okay, I guess I can go next.
great.
So the first thing I watched this week, let me paint a picture. I was
Like the painter?
very bored
Oh.
and there was nothing to watch on TV.
Well, there's plenty to watch on TV.
There is plenty.
There's a lot.
There was nothing to watch on streaming services, what I should be
Bro has
specific. I
not
don't have-
seen Babylon.
Bro
I don't
hasn't
have-
seen my balls.
So I'm scrolling through services and I'm like, oh shit, I saw the TV Glow. Beck likes that
Mhm.
movie. Maybe I should try it out to see what the hype's all about. I start the first 15 minutes, I could not finish it. That shit was boring as fuck. That shit was ass.
Wow. You're
So-
hurting Beck, you know that, right?
I will watch it more better when we're doing the 4-movie thing.
Yeah, no, I was so pissed at you. Like, why are you watching this? I quite literally
I
said,
didn't realize that.
I'm doing this for the 4 movies thing.
Yeah, I didn't realize
is
that
this
you
your
were.
If
favorite movie of
not,
all
we can do
time?
Babylon, guys. 3 hours, 20 minutes of Babylon.
Oh no, not
Beck,
3
it's gonna
hours.
be
3 hours.
It is 3 hours.
Beck, is I Saw TV Glow your favorite movie?
No.
It's in your top 4.
The thing is, what I want to do for that is like my top 3 and then my top movie of the year on the right.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This fucking guy, man. Well,
But
I
what
don't know.
didn't
based off
you
the
like
first
about
15
it?
It was just boring and not. Good.
But the guy's depressed.
You overhyped it too much. That's the issue.
That is true.
I think the main issue is you overhyped it so much that I was going into it thinking this is going to be a really good movie.
Beck is a
And then I go
chronic
into it,
overhyper.
and this looks like it was filmed by. It looks like it's a college student. It looks like a college student's film.
It's
Like,
meant
it's
to
not-
be like that.
Well, I don't like that. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look or feel good. It looks like very unfinished and low budget. I don't know, and I don't like that. Not my
That's
vibe.
fair. That's fair.
So
Yes,
instead, I
okay.
watched Peak and I watched the final episode of Evangelion, Neon Genesis.
And then did you watch the movie?
No,
No,
I just
you-
watched the
you
final episode. That's it.
Just watch the end.
Honestly, is a better ending than the movie. I'm not even gonna lie.
But
The final episode's a better
but
ending
the
than the
show
movie.
doesn't have tumbling down.
That is true. But the
But
meaning
wait,
of the end of the
but
last
wait.
episode is better.
But wait, Nikola, the show doesn't have Oscar being brutally killed by 9
That's something
divas.
that's something I was gonna say. That's my one complaint is that we don't really get anything with Asuka. Dying is what I meant. But
Aiden,
Next
do you have
thing I
something Oscar related?
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
get some pizza. I'll be right back.
next thing I watch, I'm gonna keep it anime related. You finally let me on the Crunchyroll account, which meant I was finally able to watch Chainsaw Man.
JJK.
Chainsaw Man. So I watched the first season of Chainsaw Man.
I actually
Uh,
have wanted to watch it. Is it good?
so-
That's the guy who
it's-
made Look Back, right?
Yes.
It's
And
good.
it's gonna be a great transition once Aiden gets back here.
It's good. But I prefer JJK over it. There's some like 3D. I'm not a big fan of 3D animation. And there's a couple times where they use 3D animation, and it's just kind of jarring for me.
Mm.
Other than that, I mean, it's a good show, but I like JJK more. I like the power system, I think, and the actual story of JJK, I feel like is just, in my opinion, better.
Okay.
After that, I watched, I can't talk about El Pingüino because that is a group thing, or that's me and Uri.
Yeah.
Let's
we
see
can
what else
talk
did I
about it
watch.
now for a bit.
Yeah.
I guess,
could
yeah,
talk
because
about
Aiden
it.
isn't here. Give me 1 second. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, Beetlejuice.
You
No,
watched
I talked
Beetlejuice
about that
too?
last week. I talked about
Yeah,
that
you
last
talked
week.
about that last
I
week.
talked about that last week. I should have made a list. I forgot to make a list. So I think the only other thing I've seen is I also watched for Film Comp Get Out.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
good
watching
classic movie.
I'm watching that for one of my classes this
So
year.
I have watched the film before. I really like it. It's a very good film. Rewatching it did not change my opinion on it. I still like it, but not like it's not
I
like
do
I
think
don't
it's
know,
a bit
actually.
overhyped. I think it's a bit overhyped.
I think I mean, but it's because when it first came out, it was like very different. That was the whole
regarded,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Aren't
now
I feel
it's
like most Jordan Peele movies are kind of overhyped, are they not?
I think so.
kind of.
I
But I think that's just because they're really like innovative when they first come out, and then retrospectively, they weren't like as amazing as everybody said they were.
yeah, there's an alternate ending for Get Out where he goes to prison.
That's what I was gonna say. Oh, I thought the alternate ending was it just ends before we find out that it was the guy. I didn't know there was like he actually goes to prison.
No, he
I
goes
was
to prison for
I
like their
always saw
murderers.
I always saw that it just the movie cuts basically right at that, you know, the final shot where it pans over his shoulder and the cop car is there and he puts his hands above his head. I thought it cut there and that's where it ended.
No, there's like a scene where if you're getting like Amazon or something, it shows him in prison, like his friend
Yeah.
visits him.
Yeah, I didn't know about that, but yeah, I know Jordan Peele changed it to be that
Yeah.
Rod shows up and saves him, so that's kind of good.
Yeah, more a positive
That's
note.
a better ending. Yeah, otherwise it would be a pretty.
Because he did it like an era
bummer
was like
ending.
because when he wrote it, it was like during the Obama administration where people like claimed that like racism was kind of just like gone. So it was like, but then as like sort of that era ended, it was like it could be more hope, you know.
Mhm.
And so he allowed for that more positive ending to happen. Because if it was probably earlier, he probably would have put the more negative ending. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Then I guess the only last thing I've watched is The Penguin. If you want to talk about that,
We can talk. Aiden can talk about look back through the
I think
Chainsaw Man
segue.
connection.
Oh, did you talk
Speaking of
about
Chainsaw Man,
you talking about Chainsaw Man?
Yeah,
Oh, I've seen Chainsaw Man. Did you watch the whole thing?
yeah.
Okay, I stopped watching it because I kind of found it boring.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was basically saying that it's not a bad anime. I don't like the use of the 3D animation. That's kind of jarring for me.
That's
I think, and I prefer JJK over it because I think JJK has a more interesting power system, more interesting world, and more interesting story.
completely fair.
And I think the animation is better, just because I just that 3D anim. I mean, it's like the same quality, except JJK doesn't use any of that 3D animation, and I just really cannot stand 3D, that type of 3D. It's so jarring for me when it goes from like
that's fair.
animated to like 3D, and it's just
I
it's
just
so
I
jarring
just
to me.
found it really boring at one. At,
Yeah,
like, at
there's not a
whatever
lot that
point.
happens. I think Chainsaw Man's a lot better to read than to watch.
Yeah. But I don't. But like knowing what comes next, I don't really have like that urge to read it
Yeah.
because I know it gets kind of nasty and fucked up. Anyway,
speaking of reading,
by the same author, Look Back. Beck talked about it like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, "Hey, you could talk about it because I'm not gonna be able to see it for a while." And then it came to my theater that was near me like a day after, and I was like, "Well, fuck." So then I went to see it. I had 4 movies lined up in one day.
Doing a little Celsius Pod summer binge.
Oh yeah, and I was gonna
but
go.
alone.
I saw my first movie in the morning. It was Nightmare Before Christmas. Really good peak movie. Glad I got to see that in theaters. I was the only one there, so I just sung all the songs to myself. It was awesome.
There was a theater employee in the back just judging you the entire time.
I would have been that
Probably,
as
but it was
well, yeah.
awesome. So then I went to school, and then I went home, and then I had like 20 minutes before I had to go to the theater, and I was just about to leave for the theater, and then my sister tells me that my mom told her for me to take her to the ER.
Okay.
Mhm.
Fine.
So
So
then
you
I
missed
have
your
to
movie.
I have to take my sister to the ER, and I get to the theater 30 minutes late, and there's no previews to the movie. So I'm like halfway
There
through the
were
movie.
previews to the movie when I went.
No, because when I went when I re-went to see it, there were no previews.
Oh, okay.
What movie?
Look back.
Look back.
Oh, look back. Yeah.
But when I went, the movie was already in progress, so I said, "Damn, I'm gonna go back to my car and wait till my next movie."
Okay.
So I took a nap in my car, and it was really comfortable. Actually, my car is very comfortable. But I saw the movie the next day instead with you here, and it was a very good movie. I think it's too short, though.
Really?
I think it's too short.
I feel like you need shorter films, and I like that it was short.
I mean, I like that it was. I think there could have been an extra like 20 minutes because in my time waiting for my next movie, I did actually read the original manga, and it was good. But again, too short. I think the anime could have added in more scenes, the characters bonding.
Yeah,
I
what
feel
he
like it was.
said.
I just personally think it was very well paced.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
to
I feel
agree
I
to
feel like
disagree.
you knew them enough.
No, I know I knew them enough. I just would have liked to see more of them.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're gonna have to agree to
I
disagree.
mean, it's yeah. Agree to disagree.
But it was very
Yeah.
good. I still liked it.
But what else did you watch after Look Back?
Are you guys all done?
Yep.
No, but continue. Just like we'll talk about the groups later.
Oh, well, they're groups.
Okay.
Oh, no, actually, I didn't see anything after Look Back. I went home because I had to see it
Oh.
a different day. Beck,
Yeah.
tell me.
Okay. Wow.
What
Dude.
would the day what was the day called? Like if we were to like put all the movie names together.
The night.
My Nightmare Before Christmas.
No, that's not right. The night before the Apprentice. You're next. The Nightmare Before the Apprentice. You're next.
You're
That's
not.
what it is.
Jesus Christ, what a mouthful.
I guess I'll go with for my solos.
Yes.
Oh, I have one other solo.
Okay.
Loki, this
yeah.
is a dry ass episode. Can we up the energy?
Yeah.
What the
fuck it. I'm gonna talk about my favorite movie because I gave it a rewatch. I rewatched Toy Story 3.
Beck
And
probably
you know
hates
what?
that movie, right?
Beck hates Toy Story.
I do
3.
not hate Toy Story 3.
He
I just
hates
think
the
it
movie.
is not a 10 out of 10 masterpiece like you say it is.
It is.
Yeah, that's
like,
what
it's
I
a
think
pretty
about
good
Whiplash.
movie.
All
it's
right,
better than Whip. I think it's better than Whiplash actually.
It is not better than Whiplash. You are on crack right now.
No, he's
Well,
not
I'm
on crack.
thinking.
He's right.
I
Because
can enjoy Toy Story 3 more than I think Whiplash.
What is Toy Story 3 again? Which one is that? That's
The
I mean,
third
I
one.
know
The
which
third
but-
one?
No shit,
The
but like
Prison
who's the villain?
Break?
Who's the villain? Oh, Prison Break. It's that one. Yeah.
with Lotso.
Lotso.
Okay, that
So-
explains it. Yeah, Lotso is really good.
Yeah, Lotso is an amazing character. The movie just has really good pacing. Animation wise is great. Like coming out.
Is that the one
so-
where Buzz becomes
Spanish?
Latino?
Yes.
Spanish,
Mexican,
yes.
yeah.
We all said different things, and you all said something
They
racist.
all count.
How's what?
Okay. Anyway, the characters are great. Having like 3 movies to set all these characters up. Like the first movie has a billion like random side characters. The second movie has like even less and whittles it down, but they're still there. And then by the third movie, there's nobody left. It's just these like 12 characters. Then that's all we
Yeah,
have.
only 12.
Versus like a billion?
Okay, yeah.
Come on. But
I'm
like,
just saying, like, I wouldn't
Well,
call
like
any
about-
cast of 12 small.
okay,
Well,
but
about-
then you could take the 3 aliens off because those aren't even characters. So then it's 9.
What I like about Toy Story 3 is that how they humanize the villains so like deeply.
still
Like
do.
you feel for Lotso and like the baby like
Yeah.
so hard, and you like
Yeah.
really feel their pain. But it doesn't. It does. It's really interesting when it's the baby that turns on Lotso at the end.
Yeah.
I think I had that baby phone.
Yeah,
Like,
and
as
so
a
it's like a
toy.
Fisher
really
Price
interesting
phone, yeah.
story. What's crazy about this movie is that they the weird kind of like Barbie character, which is really interesting for a Pixar movie to have just like
Yeah, to have an
it seems
actual
like
like
copyright
branded.
licensing that they I don't know for this movie, but I don't know how that came about to be in the.
I don't know, but I really like Barbie as a
She's
character.
a good Ken and
both
Barbie.
both Barbie and Ken are really funny and like are really well written characters. Like having Barbie like be like the smart woman of action is a very good direction. Even though we kind of have Jesse who is also that, but different. And I like how they use Jesse and Bullseye. Like the Toy Story 2 is like their movie in quotation marks. Like we get to know them, but we don't like get to know them. And then like Toy Story 3 builds off of every character, every like interaction they've had. And like Jessie has like panic attacks whenever she's put in dark space, and that's from the second movie. And she like references Emily a lot, and it's like that's from the second movie, but like isn't like doesn't come into play very importantly. And it's just like good character writing and like good building off like trilogy shit.
What I like about Toy Story 3 is the idea. So I'm really interested in like toy prisons. That's like a really fascinating idea.
Yeah.
So like a toy sort of leader, like in like a daycare where there's full of toys. I thought it was like a really kind of smart idea. Sort of like he's controlling the area. Like it's a really smart idea. I think he's the best villain in the trilogy.
Yeah,
by far
definitely.
For me.
I definitely also like how the twist of him comes before the halfway part of the movie.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so he has like time to actually be the villain.
But then
Yeah.
what I like about it, you could like they really they humanize him, but at the end they also make him evil. Like he thinks he could be a good guy, but then he does end up being a coward in the end.
Exactly.
And also that moment, crying full tears when you think they're gonna all die in the end.
I literally was tearing up watching it because it's such a good scene. The music, the parallels to the beginning with the monkey bomb at the beginning when like Jesse, Buzz, and Woody are dying at the beginning, and they all do the same like pose, turn head
Wait,
thing.
I thought that was in the first movie, not the third movie.
No,
I could have
There's like a
sworn the monkey bomb
flashback.
was the first movie.
And no, in the third movie, the beginning is like an imagination thing with Andy when he's playing with all the toys.
Yeah, I remember that. I just could have sworn that was the opening to the first
No.
movie.
No,
I'm like
That's-
all three of the
The
Toy
first
all the
is
Toy Story
Woody
movies
going
have,
around like the
merged in my head.
cardboard town.
yeah, but it's
Yeah, I
supposed to be
guess.
like that same thing. Like they quote that same scene multiple times,
Yeah.
which is very cool. Like
And
it's
then-
a very good callback. There's a lot of quotes. There's like in the first movie, Buzz has like it's just no time to panic, and then Woody's like it's a perfect time to panic, and then they bring that back, and they have Buzz is like there's no time to be hysterical, and Mr. Potato Head's like it's a perfect time to be hysterical. Like they have these callbacks which are just like so nice because they have to switch up the dynamics because Woody isn't like with the group for most of the movie and Buzz is in charge. But then they lose Buzz because then he gets switched to demo mode and then
Yeah.
it's like now they're lost. And
That's
then Woody
probably
comes back and it's like Woody's like this important clue. Like it's not about Andy, it's about them.
I would say my only thing about the movie is like they don't really do much with Buzz in the movie that much.
Okay, that's a problem with every Toy Story movie.
Yeah.
You can't knock that on them because they do that for every single movie. The first movie, Buzz is an annoying ass character. Second movie, Buzz gets replaced halfway through. Third movie, Buzz gets switched to demo mode in the third movie. Fourth movie, who the hell knows what he's doing in the
he
fourth
does not.
movie?
And so
Yeah,
this
what
might-
does no he gets like in like the
He rizzes up the
carnival.
girl.
He
I
listens
don't
to
know.
his inner voice.
And so, but the ending of the third movie is
It's
so
so
like
good.
beautiful. It's like
It is, yeah.
It's like
yeah.
It's like such a we are in this together. We are family. You cannot separate us. Even in death, we will be together as like this core group of people. And then they're like, what if we made the most dramatic move in animation history and then hit them with a trifecta First movie, the aliens worship the claw. Second movie, aliens come back. Third movie, aliens find the claw, save the day. Woo!
And then what do they do in the fourth
wrap it
movie?
all around. We have saved our lives. We are eternally grateful. Bam! Put it in the bag. Wash it off. Put it in the sink, in the dishwasher, in the dryer. Put it on
What
the
did
shelf.
they do in what
Bam.
did they do in the fourth movie?
Nothing.
Don Rickles dies, so he can't reprise his role as Mr. Potato Head.
And so
Yeah.
what's really annoying is
So-
that the fact that they had to sort of ruin the third kind of one. It doesn't ruin. I love the third one, but like the fourth one, it's a nothing movie to me.
I saw it in theater and it was
Yeah.
kind of like, well, that was disappointing, but it's good. It's still good, I guess.
Yeah. It was fine. Like the fourth
Yeah.
and the fifth one don't count to me in the trilogy. As much as
it's like Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Well, talking about
We're not done. I'm
rewatching
still
our
talking
favorite,
about Toy
talking
Story
about
3.
rewatching
I'm
our
still
favorite,
talking about Toy Story
talking
3.
about rewatching
Fuck
our
you.
favorite movies. I remembered that for film comp, I had to rewatch La La Land again. So we
Dude,
gotta talk about La La
stop
Land
fucking
again.
watching La La Land.
I have to for film comp.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest. I don't care for La La Land that much.
That's fine.
How could you say that?
That's fine.
I
I'm
don't
fine with
care
it.
for La La Land.
It's
I
my
haven't seen
favorite
La La
movie. It does
Land.
not have to be your favorite movie.
It insists upon itself.
It does insist upon
My
itself.
favorite movie doesn't have to be your favorite movie.
Exactly.
Ever
My
think about
favorite movie
that?
does
Beck?
not need to be your favorite movie.
Yeah.
So then I can talk about something that I actually haven't talked about before, which is episode 3 of Dandadan.
Wow.
Dun, dun, dun.
So in
You guys
this
see the
one,
music
we
video?
get no,
What?
I've not watched it, but I've seen clips, but I haven't watched it. But either way, this episode is all around the hot grandma. Damn, she 80.
He's 8.
80.
Bro, might be
Hurry, look up
dyslexic.
Dandadan Grandma. Trust me, you'll be whacking your wiener anytime.
Holy
soon.
shit! Please do not say that. Actually, I'm curious what happens.
It's
in
the
first
third
one.
result when you type in Dun Dun Dun.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh yeah. And then search by images. Oh wait, no. Also, just the turbo granny comes up.
Oh,
I can just DM. I can just DM it to.
Yeah, he already has it saved. He already has it saved.
yeah.
No, I just searched in Google very quickly.
No, he already has it saved.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
So, this episode is basically they need to go confront Turbo Granny, but mostly it's like set up for that because right now what's happening is the grandma comes home and is like, "Oh shit, why are you going cuckoo? Why is Turbo Granny going cuckoo on my front lawn?" So then he fucking kills that guy, but not really. He just put Okaru into the spirit box.
To the Shadow Realm?
into
Oh.
the just like a little hut that's like a shrine that will keep him from turning. And then they're like discussing, they're like, okay, we have to go break his curse, which means we have to go confront Turbo Granny. So then he really needs to poop, and they have an entire 15-minute joke about him
What the
needing to-
fuck is this show?
It's fucking ass.
That's awesome.
It's it's like a 5-minute joke about like, oh, I need to go use the bathroom, but every time I leave the barrier, I'm gonna go crazy unless the person holds it. But then if she holds it, then she's like near me and can see me pooping.
Uh-oh.
So then he runs inside and runs into the bathroom. That comes back because then he transforms into Turbo Granny and curses the grandma into getting lung cancer.
Oh
No.
Fuck.
So
And Aiden, you
basically-
watched this in theaters.
So basically, Turbo Granny was like, yeah, if you don't come to confront me tonight, your grandma will die of lung cancer. So then the episode ends with them getting on the train and going. So
Yeah.
that's that episode. Next week will be the episode that Aiden
We'll see
hasn't
how that
watched,
thread
Yeah,
pulls
then
out.
I can actually start watching it.
and that'll be Thursday. So
Yeah,
the
I
movie
do want to
ends
try
up
to catch up on it so I can.
The
That's
movie
kind of-
ends before anything happens. Kind of crazy.
So
Yeah.
Nikola, you're enjoying watching this show.
I am
Right.
enjoying watching the intro. I am kind of disappointed because somebody spoiled something about Turbo Granny to me, and knowing
Is
it
it Aiden?
kind of ruins the
know.
suspense of the show.
I don't know it.
That's why I'm not going to say it.
The Turbo Granny has lung cancer, guys.
He's
No.
a grandma, a grandpa.
No, I don't know. I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to explain it. But
Cool.
it spoils something that kind of makes it less climactic. So
The grandma's an alien.
no, it's not that. You'll see.
He's a
Because the manga, somebody spoiled the manga for me. That's why.
Yeah, dude, I hate it when people do that.
Yeah, Beck?
Yeah. I'm
So,
looking at
anyway,
Nikola.
now we can transition to group watches because Dandadan was kind of a group watch.
So what
Pingüino.
other anime did we watch?
El Pingüino, El Pingüino,
Yeah, the
El
penguin.
Pingüino, El Pingüino,
let's talk
What
about the
other
penguins.
anime did we watch?
The Penguin.
the Penguin. So
Penguin is a really good anime.
the Penguin is a really good show. This episode was really good. This time,
This was
basically
probably the
following-
best episode of the show so far for me.
No, I like the last
Actually,
episode.
episode 4 is
before more.
better. 4 is better because it was just like a really good.
This
character
episode
but-
is like another. This episode,
But this is a really solid episode. It's really showing
It's a
me
really
this-
solid episode, but it's a setup episode.
It is a sad episode, but it was like this was like this show. What I'm learning about the show is that it's not afraid to change the status quo of the show, and that's what I kind of like about the show.
Like we feel like we're constantly on the ropes, and we're trying to like the Penguin. We're on the ropes, and we're
Yeah,
trying
and
to
so-
struggle to get on top.
I'll just quickly say what happens in this episode. Spoilers, but essentially, so now from end of last episode, Sophie has essentially killed the entire Falcone family, and now it's
Yeah.
just her and like the guy she's kidnapped, Vidi, who's like an
Vidi.
underboss of the family.
Who's
And
his,
so-
who's his uncle? Her
Yeah,
uncle.
and she's taking control, and now she does a really interesting choice where she brings all like the workers of the family, and she's like, you guys were never made men, but now you get to be part of this new family. And her psychiatrist is like, he feels
Bro,
like
the
bad.
psychiatrist is so fucking freaky, man. Bro got there and he like walked in and he said, and he's like standing awkwardly and like he has such an awkward body language. Like, how do I do this? He's always standing like this, where like he's holding his arms like up and still, and it's
But
really weird.
but
And he's
pledging
like
his
right
allegiance
next to her, and he says, "You were right. I like to see like you in control and like my power over people. So when you kill everybody and take over the family, I want to be there to watch."
So he's like now very loyal to her, and then something I expected it happening, but not the way this quickly. She was like she kept Vidi alive for like information, but then at the actual like new meeting of
As
the family,
soon as Vidi told her to calm down, she shot him in the head.
and now
Um,
he's dead. And he's like, it shows that she's willing to take control, and like I'm really loving her character in this show. She's a very
Wait.
interesting villain.
Wait a minute. I think I figured out why this episode is so slow. It's because he forgot to put the movie in the background.
Right.
Oh
Aiden,
yeah.
you forgot
I
the
did.
movie.
Wow. I'm
That's
Aiden,
sorry.
why
why
this
are you
episode
doing
feels off.
Aiden, I thought I had the smile demon in me.
He is
for a
doing the
second.
smile thing because he's trying to transition to smile. But
I'm
we're
not doing
we're not
anything.
doing that yet.
I'm not doing anything.
We're not doing that yet. We're not
I
transitioning
wasn't.
to smile.
I wasn't doing.
He
a
wasn't
thing.
doing
So-
anything. The smile demon works on me, Nikola.
Oh
Let's
no,
do
dude.
Fuck, wait.
He's in your
Aiden,
eye. He's in your eye. Yoshi,
We
how you
never
feel?
had the podcast.
Oh no.
Okay, but back to the penguin. But
Bite the
no, Nikola,
dust.
she's a really good villain in this show.
Yeah.
Like I can empathize with. It's sort of a Lotso thing where I can empathize where she's coming from, but I also I'm on the penguin side, so I want to see her being taken down eventually. But I also kind of want to follow her journey a bit as she's like following. But essentially, where it's like we see that Oz is kind of scared of Sophia now, but now he still has the he still has to deal with the Salvatore family, so they're like they want to get, because at the end of the third episode they found out Oz was cheating them, and they stole his like whole new drug supply, and so now he's making a move where he steals Marone Salvatore's like son, and his wife is like really pissed about this, and like, okay, we'll do a deal. You give us the mushrooms,
Because
and I'll give you back your son.
basically this was before he even knew. This was before he realized Sophia was killing
Yeah.
was killing the
but
Falcons. So
his-
he was starting to make a move. His first, I think what he was gonna do is he was gonna take out the Maronis and then move on to the Falcons. But luckily, Sophia just happened to already do that for him, kind of.
Guys, you know what's crazy in this episode? He uses TikTok, the penguin.
No.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
No.
So he's like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna hit him when he weaks. He whips out his iPhone, opens TikTok, and it's a fucking video of the sun being like the Maronis are gonna come back on top. Y'all are sleeping on us. Fuck all of y'all. We back on top. And he's like, he's a fucking idiot. Let's go kidnap him.
I wonder what the penguin's feed is like on TikTok.
Yeah.
So
So anyway, they grabbed him. They took him to his mom, and he
then-
was soaking wet. And then he walked over to his mom. They get ambushed, but luckily they kill all the ambushers, and the penguin lights them on fire because he wasn't wet with water; he was wet with gasoline.
and because
Oh,
he burns,
no.
it was such a thrilling scene. It
Yeah,
was
so he burns the wife and stuff. But that means the what's it called? The fire suppressant came down on the warehouse. So they had to quickly get out of there with the shrooms. But by the time they arrived, all the shrooms were dead except for 2 buckets.
And so then that leads to another point later. But he also sends a guy to kill Salvatore in prison, but he manages
But
to.
He's an idiot because he just hired some random guard, and the guard came up to him, basically tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Oz sends his regards," and then tried to stab him.
He
and
fucking did
failed.
he fucking did like a Tywin Lannister move right there.
Why
Tywin
did he
Lannister.
I don't understand why why does he say anything before stabbing him? It doesn't make sense.
Bro
And so
needs
then-
to hire
That
the
would've
guy
been
from
awesome. That would've
Joker
been cool.
2.
And so
Literally.
then he's and then
Why
he
so
escapes
mysterious?
Salvatore escapes prison. And
Yeah.
so he's feeling defeated. And then
But
Sophia does this
no,
really
because he
smart.
escapes prison and he calls Oz and he's like, "What is this? Fucking amateur hour? You're cooked.
He does say that.
You're cooked because you gave me the keys. Now I'm
And
out
then
of
he's-
prison.
And then he's like, you
Your
should talk to your
assassin
wife.
is dead. You're cooked." And Oz is like, "You know what? Call your wife. She's not gonna pick up."
He's really cooked because she's
Ooh.
burned.
Yeah.
You know? And then
He said,
he's
"You
like
think
feeling
I'm cooked?
dejected.
You're cooked. You're cooked.
He's feeling
You
really
got the
dejected.
gabagoo, you know? You got the
Because he's like
gabagoo."
his wife and son are dead. And then Sophia does this really smart move where she teams up with him. And we're gonna see how they
Yeah.
probably are working against
So
Oz. And
basically,
so Oz,
what happens is he's in his little shack out in the woods, drinking himself with guards around him. When Sophia pulls up, kills all the guards, walks through the door, and says, "I'd like to have a little chat." And he's like, "Fuck you, you're a Falcone." And she said, "The Falcones are gone. It's just me. I'm a Giatti," or whatever.
Gigante.
Giatti?
He's like,
Gigante.
yeah.
Yacht?
Gigante.
it's the
because
new
her mom was
Gigante. It's like it shows
because
where
her
like
mom's last name was Gigante, and
and it
she's
shows like she's
casting
taking
off that side
she's
of her
taking
family.
control of the family now. It's like it's no more the Falcones, Aiden. It's the Gigantes now.
Uh-oh. The
Yeah.
Gabante.
And so they're gonna
And
team
then
up.
she's
We're gonna see
like, apart, Oz is gonna Oz has fucked you over. He's fucked me over. So you know what? Why don't we work together, show of strength, and we kill that motherfucker?
yeah.
And then we go to the final scene, which is Oz is not really the final scene, but Oz is scrambling to make sure everybody he loves is safe. So the girl he's dating does not go with him, but his mom is moved by
Victor.
by Victor to the east side, yeah, where basically where Victor used to live before the water came and killed his parents. So he is now there. The mom is kind of a dick about it because she's like, how could my own son lead me to this dump? What a fucking failure.
Loser.
Yeah. So basically that happens, and then Penguin gets is going through his old stuff, and he finds something about the metro, and he's like, you know what? I remember I used to always go down to the metros because they're completely abandoned. So he goes with V down to the metros, and he finds his old place where he used to hang out. So he pulls the generator, all the lights comes on, and he's like, damn, just how I remember it. And it's dark and it's humid. You know what thrives in dark and humid places?
Mushroom.
mushrooms.
Oh,
And so we're gonna see how he's gonna
he's
build
like,
his drug empire.
This is the base of operations. We're going to be growing the mushrooms here. And then
It-
the generator dies, everything, all the lights turn off, and one explodes. And then that's the end of the episode.
Oh no.
And so we're
and
gonna
I
see how
feel
that
like you
kind
could
of-
also like use the subway tunnels as drug tunnels to get like.
Except,
Driving
here's the
across.
thing. We know the Batman also uses the tunnels to reach his Batcave. Do you think that it's going to play to something in Batman 2?
I don't think it will. But I really like this episode. It really felt like for the first time, you really feel like intense pressure with Oz. Like he's like finally a way he can talk himself out of, and he can only go on the offense now. There's no more defense, no more like he has to go fully offensive now. He has to attack, because like he can't trick them with his words anymore. And so now you see, I really like that about the show. Like I'm glad they didn't like postpone it to like the last episode of the show. Like they're building up now. We still have 3 episodes to go. And we're gonna see how that sort of he's gonna go attack. I don't think Sophia is actually gonna die. She's just as Marone might die, Salvatore might die, but
No, there's no way she's still going to be alive for the time of Batman 2. That wouldn't make sense.
I don't know. I feel like she's an interesting enough character they might keep her
She's
on
an
for potential
interesting
season
character.
2.
But I think the ending of the is they're gonna do a season 2 of the show?
If
I
they
thought the
might,
show.
I feel like
I
don't
feel
know.
like the whole point of the show's gonna end with him winning, and that's a
Yeah,
setup for the Batman 2.
it could be, but
And because of that, I think Sophia kind of has to die because there's no way she could be, because like the whole idea is that Penguin will now
Yeah.
be on top.
but I feel like he's a bit too smart just to die in this sort of show.
Yeah, well, something has to happen to her where she can't be in Gotham anymore. At least she can't
but it's
have
like-
any power in Gotham. At least.
But this was such a really powerful episode. It shows that also Victor, he's fully ingratiated in the life of the Penguin, and showing that he's loyal to the Penguin now. Because this was the first episode where you feel like true loyalty from Victor. Now he's not just a hostage.
Yeah, and we also see that Oz is trusting him even more now because he fell asleep, but Oz wasn't mad at him.
Yeah, and he's taking care of his mother. He's kind of like the nurse, and like he's showing that he's like it's intense pressure, but Oz, he's a slimy bastard. And it's like this is such an underdog show, and I love it in that regard.
Yeah.
But it's such a great show. I highly recommend it. I'm having a great time with it. When I first thought about it, I thought it might have been like just Batman schlock before I watched the first episode, but I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the beginning threw me off because I was really thrown off by how different it felt from the Batman movie. But now that I've adjusted to like how the show is, it's a really good show.
What's
So what's next?
Speaking of anime,
No,
No.
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 what it's something that you get to talk about, Aiden.
True, I do get to talk about it.
Okay,
a
talk
little
about
bit.
it, guys.
Guys, as
Guys.
we know, I am a big My Hero Academia fan.
Can we not?
Yeah, he's a great big My Hero Academia fan.
And the 4th movie came out like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And since Aiden is doing the thing where he watches all 2024 releases, he had to go watch it.
And I
So-
saw it. That was part of the 4 movies that I was gonna see on the day that I saw Look Back.
And
ended
I
the
would
day with
just,
it.
yeah, I went with 2 of my friends, and one of them was a big My Hero Academia fan, and the other had never seen a single episode.
I wish
So-
that was the second
And he
guy.
loved it, and the other one hated it.
Yeah, no, they did not get most of it. But also, like, the thing with this
Even
is
the
it
big
takes
fan?
place. No, the big fan liked it. But like the thing about this movie is it takes place between season 6 and season 7, and that's when all the shit is terrible in the world. So it's really hard to set a movie during that time. And also so much stuff has happened. I don't even know like how Aiden was able to understand any of it. Like
Yeah, I made a lot of sense.
no,
actually.
like in the last 20 minutes, a random character that Aiden would never have seen shows up, and me and my friend started popping off, like jumping out of our seats because he
Is it
showed
this-
up.
is it the
You guys are
superhero
such
guy?
losers.
Yeah, it's Lemillion.
Okay, I assumed he
This-
was some kind of cool guy, like an all
Yeah,
guys are actually.
He's supposed to be the next All Might.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I assumed that he was probably
I thought
awesome.
green cape or the green hoodie. What the fuck is Deku's name?
Deku?
His name is Deku.
His name is
but
Deku.
What's his superhero name? It's like the
That it
green
is
hoodie.
Deku.
It's not
His
his it's not
superhero
the
name
green
is
hoodie or
Deku.
something. I could've
His
sworn it
regular
was
name is
something
Midoriya.
I could have
Yeah,
sworn
his-
it was something stupid like the green hoodie.
No, the green poncho is from Craig of the Creek.
I don't know. Either way, it's ass.
Okay, but Aiden,
So,
let's have you give the rundown of what happens in this movie.
All right, so I can do it very quickly. So this
Yeah.
guy who is pretending to be All Might pretends to be All Might, and there's also this girl who has powers of Rose, and fake All Might makes a big bubble of gross, and it encapsulates most of Tokyo or whatever Japanese town they're in. Then they're in the thing, but it's actually like a zoo for people, and there are the three groups get split up. So you have Deku's group, who Deku just leaves and he loses his powers, but that's a separate. They don't do anything for the rest of the movie. Then there's Bakugan's group. He goes to a
Bakugan.
carnival and he doesn't do anything for the rest of the movie.
No, he has.
Then there's the
Todoroki.
other guy, and his group falls asleep immediately. So they don't do anything for the rest of the movie. So the only person that we follow this whole movie is Deku. So Deku loses his quirk. He's like, "Oh no, I lost my quirk that shouldn't have been mine in the first place." And then he meets this guy who looks like he's out of Chainsaw Man, and I don't remember his name. So he's just going to be called Motorcycle Mildred. So Motorcycle Mildred, he has a lot of guns and a motorcycle. Deku's like, "Hey, I saw you try to shoot the girl. What's up with that?" And he's like, "Look, bad guys." And then they fight the bad guys, and one of them was stopping his quirk from being quirky. And then he gets his quirk back because they defeated the bad guy. And then All Might shows up, fake All Might. He's like, "Ah, you defeated the bad guys. Great job. I have the girl now. And look, I have the really hot big boob lady with me." And then he leaves. And also, he's like, "I think I should be called Dark All Might or Dark Might. I think that's a pretty cool name." But
And he
that's
says,
pretty-
I'm not here.
but that's really lame, so I'm calling him Racist All Might. So Deku's like, "Shoot, Racist All Might has the girl. Hey, Motorcycle Mildred, what's the deal?" And he's like, "I have the quirk to stop people's quirks from happening, but only with my right hand. But I lost my right hand when they found out her ability was to make people's quirks better. So they killed her, or took her, and they destroyed the mansion that I was working at as a butler." And everyone's like, "No, that's so sad." And he said, I have to kill her because she said to kill her if her power got too out of control." And Deku's like, "No, we'll save her." And then all the characters do a different thing, but it doesn't. So so most of the characters that aren't go fight the things that aren't important. And then there's also the like special forces team that's trying to get inside the Goop Fortress Zoo thing. And there's a fire guy, and he sacrifices his life. And then Deku and
He does not
Bakugan
sacrifice his life.
and Deku and Bakugan and red and white hair boy and the bird, they go. And then the bird is like, "I'll fight the guys in the car." And then they go, and Bakugan and the red and white hair guy are like, "Oh, we'll fight the big guy and the short guy." And then Deku goes, and he's like, "Racist All Might." And Motorcycle Mildred is there too. And they're, "We're gonna kill you." And All Might's like, "No." And then they fight, and then they almost lose. And then Bakugan shows up with the other guy because they defeated the other
Wait,
guy.
is this the one where she says, "When did he get a face card?"
That's in the show.
No. So then they're like, "We're gonna kill him." And then they kill him. But then he comes back to life because of the girl's ability. And then he's actually a big monster. And they beat him because Deku goes, "California, Ohio, Utah, Oklahoma, punch!" And then he dies.
does name
and at
like
the end of
20
the movie.
separate states in a row, and it was really funny.
And that's the end of the movie. They defeated the bad guy because the movie. He didn't get powered up or anything. He just beat it because the movie had to end.
Yeah, no, there's like
then-
it could have ended at like 5 separate points.
It definitely could have ended at like
they-
5 separate points.
But you agree, the animation popped off in that final battle.
Did
It
it?
gave me a fucking seizure. You can't just say that flashing lights means better animation.
It's
No, you
fucking
guys should watch it.
downhill.
Okay.
You
I
should
would
not
like
watch
to give
it. It
I should
wasn't
give my thoughts on this
incredible.
movie. Now, this
I can
movie
gi- I
is
can give my
absolute
thoughts.
cinema.
It's not absolute cinema.
It
You
is
gave
absolute
it 3.5
true.
stars. That's
I haven't
absolute
even.
cinema.
I have not even
I wa-
watched it. I can tell you it's ass.
I want to explain to you like why this movie is also bad, but I love it. It's just like it's just fun. You know, the story makes no sense. It's randomly convoluted, but
The
all the
story
characters
made fine sense. It was perfectly not convoluted. I don't know what part was convoluted to you.
I don't know.
Like, were you not following? I was following.
I
it
was
fine.
following the story, yeah.
I don't know any of the characters or anything, and I was following it perfectly well.
Okay, but like I'm saying it's like it's not a film that's like meant to have like a deep story. It's supposed to be like, hey, I really like these characters. These characters are fun. Let's watch them fight for an hour and a half.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was 2 hours, but yeah, I understand that. But I'm still
Yeah.
confused on how you're saying it was convoluted.
It was, I was not.
No.
sa-
I'm not done.
I do not mean it was convoluted.
You said convoluted. Those were the words you said.
You know, the story makes no sense. It's randomly convoluted.
Okay, I didn't mean convoluted.
Then don't say
Can we
convoluted.
stop talking about fucking
I'm
anime? Holy
saying-
shit.
Dude, you talked about Chainsaw Man.
For 5 minutes, not 20 minutes.
Oh my god.
Nikola, yeah, but we don't care about you, okay? We're the big boys are talking, okay?
Yeah. I mean,
Celsius Pod Supreme.
yeah, we're in the top row. You guys are in the bottom row. That's how this works. We're above you, literally. But okay, like I don't think the movie is as good as the show. Like the show has like a lot more stuff happening, a lot more build up, a lot more plot. But I mean, the movie does what it's meant to do, which is just a fun adventure with these characters for 2 hours. And it's also great to see something.
Wait, so
like
wait, back by these characters, you mean literally just Deku, right?
No, because Bakugo's in it. Bakugo's dead right now in the show. It's very sad.
Okay, but Bakugo didn't do anything the
He
entire
is-
movie.
Bro, anytime he was on screen, he was like so funny. He was like
Yeah, I
insanely
agree
good.
with you. I agree. I thought he was really funny also, but he didn't do anything. Those can be mutually exclusive. I mean, they're not mutually exclusive. You could be not in the movie very long and also really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with. Yeah, he's very funny, but he doesn't do anything.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, I think Aiden, you should watch the show.
I don't think I will because
He did
watching
give this
that
movie 5 stars.
a lot. I didn't give it 5 stars. I thought like half the characters. I was laughing at the character designs because they're so fucking stupid.
They
Like-
are. I
Like
would.
Shape guy who is jeans.
Oh yeah,
who-
new Genist. Yeah, you
guy
can
who is a-
control any threads. It's really cool.
girl who is a frog. I laughed my ass off at Frog Girl.
Frothy.
What is Pink Girl? Her ability is gravity. How is that ever useful?
Anything she touches is like now 0 gravity.
Invisible Girl. How does she even do
Invisible
anything?
Girl is pretty useless.
How does she do anything? What is
Well, no, there's-
what is guy with arms? Guy with multiple arms. Who is he? What is Little
She-
Bear? Who is that guy?
Oh, that's the principal. He's really
but-
smart. That's his quirk.
Oh, he's really
He's the
smart. That's his
pedophile.
quirk.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
stupid.
Please stop watching anime.
No.
I did.
And I
just-
hope you know when the My Hero Academia season ends, there will be a Beck Lion special on it.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Guys, I watched My Old Ass finally.
Oh, thank God.
Ah.
Good movie. I quite liked it. I forgot like the twist. Like he's actually dead. Chat. I quite
Yeah.
liked that. I thought it was. I knew it wasn't gonna be like anything like he cheated her or anything. I thought something was like she fucked it up, and that was my twist. But it was actually he's dead. So I quite
Yeah.
liked Milo. It's a fun coming of age. She's barely in it, Aubrey Plaza, and that's
Yeah, I
fine.
know. That's
Yeah,
that's
no.
like my main problem with it. But I thought like the entire movie was brilliant. I really loved it.
It was pretty fun. Like I don't know why were you like so suspended? At least she just took mushrooms and that's
Yeah, it was
It's over.
such an easy like.
No, because it
Just
doesn't
like a-
make sense how it
It's-
makes sense
it's
if
a
she's a
funny-
hallucination.
It's
But
a
then
funny
how-
gag, dude.
it's
It doesn't have to make sense. Beck,
how can she interact with the guy?
how do you
makes
wrap
no
your mind?
sense.
How do you wrap your mind around something like My Hero Academia and then like watch my old ass and say, but it's too convoluted.
They put so much detail into explaining the stuff in that show.
It's so convoluted, says Beck Lyons.
It's
He doesn't like things that are convoluted, I think.
apparently not. I guess so.
Apparently
That's
not.
the word of the day today. Convoluted.
Is convoluted. Repeat it
Yeah.
with me, guys. Convoluted.
convoluted.
Spelled LVINTED.
Say
Convoluted.
K.
No.
Guys, I think we found the quote.
I watched Carrie for the first time. Great movie, Carrie.
You did
I watched
say
it was a
that.
re-release.
Uh-huh.
It's a pretty good movie. I would suggest it. It's the original one from 1976.
Nice.
Sissy Spacek, you know, it's a pretty good like sort of adaptation of the book. I think I read the book, but it was a long time ago. I know how many of you guys seen Stephen King adaptations.
I
But
saw the
I watched
original
quite a-
Pennywise.
I watched
I
quite a
seen
few.
Shawshank.
I also saw Shawshank. That is a Stephen King book. I forgot.
Unfortunately, Carrie, I quite like the movie Carrie, but it's pretty low on my adaptation list. I've seen so far 8 adaptations. Favorite, Shawshank.
Sure.
Misery. The Green Mile. I love The Green Mile. It, the 2017 one. 11/22/63. It's like a TV show about stopping the JFK assassination. Stand By Me. I'm not the biggest Stand By Me fan. Carrie, and then It Chapter 2.
You should watch the original Pennywise.
Is it
Originally.
good?
I liked it when I was a kid.
I still haven't seen The Shining, and I want to see that.
The
Oh
shitting.
yeah, I still need to see The Shining.
The Shining is good.
But then there's also like the Stephen King version because he didn't like the Shining movie.
Yeah,
it
he
wasn't
hated
true
it.
to his But no, it's a pretty good movie. I would suggest watching Carrie. It's like they made a few versions of Carrie, but this one's a pretty good version where it's all like in the book they actually laugh at her at the end when she has the pig's blood. Where in the movie it's only like the people who do it to her. The rest of the people are just kind of like, oh, they're kind of like shocked by it, and she just imagines them as laughing, which I think is kind of a smarter move. It kind of humanizes the crowd of people a bit more, I would believe, and just in her head.
Yeah.
I quite like it. I would suggest watching Carrie. I watched Rumors, but I'll talk about that next week when Aiden has
When I
watched
see it. Or 2 weeks because episode 100's next week. And so it'll be
Right.
101.
Yeah.
That's fine. Sorry, I did not quite like the movie, but
We'll hear your reaction next time. How
we'll
about?
hear.
True.
I watched in class because we were about to go and break a history about jeans.
Okay.
Pretty
yeah.
racist. Jeans are racist, by the way.
That's why I don't wear jeans. They also
Yeah.
just don't fit my balls very well.
That's
I,
most.
I wear jeans in protest of that.
Of my
That's
balls.
Yes.
Protest of my balls, you wear jeans?
Yeah.
I'm confused. Is this like underlying homophobia? I'm really or
Sorry, I'm kind of riled by Nikola's kind of review of Get Out. Good horror movie.
that's all it
all it
says.
That's it.
Good horror movie.
What do you mean? My
How
review
about,
is for the
how
podcast.
about with that review, we talk about a good horror movie? How about that?
Mm.
So, Smile
So
2 came
on
out.
Friday night, I was all like, you know what? I was like working. I was working on a script for my class. And I was like, what should I do? you know
You
what?
should.
But then I checked.
Should I work on the script or should
We're
I
in the
do
script,
something
but then I
else?
looked. There was like I could take an Uber to go to a theater called Regal Theater. That's the
You
that's
have
the
to
big.
Uber?
Yeah, there's not. I mean, there's a small one that I usually, but didn't have Smile 2 because it's more. It was just really recent.
Oh.
But I was like, I'm gonna go watch Smile 2 because guys, I don't know if you remember, 2 summers ago, not this summer, but the summer before that, I talked about watching Smile, the original,
Yeah.
Mm.
and I for more
It did
my
feel like
memory.
a very quick turnaround of like a sequel.
2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty good because like the first one got a lot of buzz. It's based off like it's based off like a short that got some good buzz, and then the person from the short is actually the first victim in the first movie.
Really.
Oh, that's cool.
Aiden, you haven't seen the first movie, right?
No. But
That's
I didn't.
fine.
I don't think
You
need
don't you
the
don't
first
need to
movie.
other than I'll be your sort of smile guide.
I had my sister. My sister's seen the first movie,
Yeah.
and she filled me in. And I really only needed
You
the
you only
first.
need like the
it's
first
only the
6
opening
minutes.
scene. Yeah.
So essentially,
And then a read of the Wikipedia also filled me in.
yeah, but it's like there's not. It's a very easy plot to get through. But I'll talk about the whole kind of like story. I'll just explain. So it goes in, and like the first movie, the first movie you can draw a lot of like. I think I'm gonna say this: Smile 2 is better than Smile 1. I'm just gonna
Really?
say that plainly. It's leveling up the concept far supremely better. They're definitely because something I learned in my media industries class. If a sequel does well, they're gonna greenlight a third or a fourth or a fifth one as soon as it like does well. It doesn't even have a writer attached because in most of Hollywood, it's producers who make the ideas and then they'll just attach a writer later on. So I can guarantee you, Smile 3 is definitely going to have like it's going to happen. I guarantee.
I think Smile is gonna become like the next Scream kind of franchise.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see
the
that.
cult
yeah.
classic horror film that has a billion sequels, or like Friday the 13th. It's gonna be like I think more Scream though.
I say, but the thing about Scream is like the more like Scream is more parody, and this one takes itself more seriously. And
Yeah.
it's like I don't know how far you can go with the content. We'll talk about that later though. So I'll just say this. And so the first one kind of follows like like a mental health like psychiatrist when one of her victims. So it's the way a smile demon works. For those who don't know, it's like it's sort of it's a demon that possesses you and like it feeds on your trauma. And then it's sort of like for the first like couple of days, it sort of just like kind of tricks you like seeing things until it fully wraps your mind until you don't really know what's happening at all. And it's feeding on your like trauma and past like circumstances until you die. It makes you die or you kill yourself. Because the thing is,
it makes you kill yourself, and then when you kill yourself, whoever's watching you, it'll get transferred to them, unless you kill somebody
out of their control.
And unless you get killed out of the control of the monster, or if you kill someone else
and
somebody else witnesses, then it transfers over to them.
And I mean, and so the first one ends where it's like, the first one has a pretty good sort of plot through where it turns out, the final girl in the Smile 1 movie, she actually dies at the end. Well, she does kill herself, and then
that's kind of a given.
Yeah, and so her cop boyfriend, her cop ex-boyfriend, that's sort of how the first one ends with him watching it.
So presumably it passes on to him, which we then at the beginning
it picks up
It picks up 6 days later.
And he's trying to get rid of it by. Well, I'm still confused. What was his plan exactly?
His plan is to kill one of the brothers in front of the other guy.
Right.
And then the fact that that he died and there was a third witness being Lewis. That was the problem.
Yeah. And because then he would have just probably killed the one with the smile demon afterwards. Right.
Maybe. I don't. Yeah. Maybe
that would have killed the demon infinitely. Because if one it passes on to one, you can just kill that one after.
Oh right, yeah, and that eliminates everything. Yeah.
And so but then Lewis. What was interesting about that? Like, how did Lewis see him being killed by the car if he was in the house? That was like confusing me for a bit.
No, he didn't. What he saw was the murder.
Oh, the murder,
right? Because that he instead of passing on to the guy he wanted it to, because he also dies, it passed on to Louis instead.
Yeah, but also my one quick thing about this part of the movie is like it's kind of really quick. So he always knew Sky, and then like it took a few days or like what happened because the Smile Demon kind of works pretty quickly,
It's like a week, yeah.
and so he just like I don't know.
I'd say one thing though is that they pretty much they open because no, he's watching it. I think that
What?
like
You're
in the next
cutting out
scene.
a lot.
Sorry, in the next scene, I'm pretty sure it's his room watching TV about like the interview on like the whatever the host thing. I think it's
Oh.
his,
Yeah,
I think it's
so-
his room.
Here's my question. I don't know if
Yeah.
this happens in the movie. So you have to kill yourself in front of somebody in order to pass it along, like for the demon to pass it on,
Yeah.
it makes you kill somebody.
Yeah.
What happens if the demon makes you kill yourself like on live TV and a bunch
We'll
of
get
people
to-
see
we'll
that?
get to
Oh,
that.
so
We'll get to
that does happen in the movie because I thought I
Sort
heard,
of, sort of.
I
Sort
heard
of.
something like that because I'm like, how does it work? Does it go to every single?
And so
Does it just jump to every single person, or
And
does
so-
it like it
but-
has
We'll get to
instant
that.
hits?
Yeah,
Or is it
but
multiply?
the movie opens they like after the first intro scene, we learn about this woman Sky Riley. She
and
is
she's
this
like a former drug addict, and now she's like her,
pop star who
pop
did
star
a bunch of drugs, who got in a
and
car accident with
her
another
boyfriend
person,
died.
Paul. I think them having the first guy die to a car and then having their thing
That was
also be
confusing.
around a car, I got confused with that.
I
I
was
thought
like,
those were
was
tied
that
together.
the same car crash? I was confused.
Yeah, I think they shouldn't have done that.
No, but it nonetheless. I think so. So far, I'm just gonna say quickly, it's a pretty like quick, thin movie, but it's a
Yeah.
fun ride watching it with her because like essentially in both movies do kind of play out the same and not faulting it, but at least the second one it really levels up the amount of like scariness in the movie. I'm gonna have to say. Also, I watched the second one, the first one outside of theaters. Watching it in theaters was so much fun.
Yeah, I
Um,
was
Yeah,
very.
I think
I was
horror movies
watching
in theaters are fun.
watch the second half of the movie like this, dude. Like I swear.
I only had that for like one scene. It was like secondhand cringe when she was like in the ballroom, and I knew because I saw this in the trailers. I was like,
yeah.
I was just
smiling at me.
exactly. I was like, oh my god, that was. But you know what's really cool? Her boyfriend, her dead boyfriend, is played by the son of Jack Nicholson. So
Really?
smile. But anyway, so essentially the plot of this movie, what's really great about this movie, because like, you know, you can make I'm gonna get into like the themes later, but you can make a lot of like comparisons with like psychiatrists and like sort of mental health of the demon first one. But it's a way more fun idea with a pop star having the smile demon because she's so popular. How
Yeah.
did she handle that along with the pressures of fame?
Exactly.
so-
yeah.
And so
But it
we're
also
seeing,
it really has that reflection of fame being that
Yeah.
like it's
It
a mix.
was
It's a mix
definitely-
of
it was-
both. Yeah.
I'll talk about sort of the themes of both movies a little bit after the movie, but after
Sure.
we break down the movie. So essentially, she's a drug addict, but she has some back pay from her car crash. So she goes to Lewis, who's like her drug dealer, and he has a smile demon, and she's like, he's just crazy. But then he does one of the most brutal kind of like scenes I've ever seen, where he takes like a metal like plate and he smashes his head in.
It's a 35-pound weight and he smashes his
The
head
weight
in.
is like, and it's a pretty brutal scene.
It's
Wait,
gross,
I remember it from the trailer. Do they like actually like show him like
Yes.
hitting himself?
Yeah.
Oh my
he
god.
hits himself 4 times and you see his face deteriorate every time.
When
And
I'm gonna
it's
say something,
nasty.
it is nasty. I'm gonna say something about the Smile universe. Their items have so much weight to them, where it's like just hitting yourself kills you kind of instantly. Like a crowbar. You just gotta do one hit, you know.
Yeah.
But it's kind of anyway. But then and so she doesn't realize now she has the Smile demon, you know.
Yeah. But she
Like, so-
throws
but
up
then-
in the scene, but she can't like call the police because there's drugs there, obviously. So
And
she just
then-
leaves with him
And
dead.
so, yeah, and so now here's a thread that's sort of being started pulling the movie. Now she starts. We now, because she's a famous person, we start thinking, okay, how much of this is like this? Because we as audience, this is Smile too, so we know what's the deal when she doesn't.
Yeah.
And so we're thinking, how much of this is really just in her head? How much is because like she has a scene with a creepy fan. Was that the Smile demon or was that just a creepy fan? We don't know.
The creepy fan was 100% real, but we
Yeah.
also have we have the little girl.
And then
I think to me, what's real and what isn't is kind of clear.
but then the movie
I
does
feel like
kind of
it's supposed
confuse
to
it
not.
later.
I know
think-
what you mean, Uri, but like retrospectively thinking about it, it kind
Yeah.
of becomes clear. Minus like
A few
the
things.
Gemma, minus Gemma
Yeah, we'll
stuff.
get into, yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's supposed to not be clear though. I think that's the whole
Yeah,
point of it.
it's definitely
it's not supposed to be, but you could definitely piece it together to a way like if you were really confused, you can figure it out really easily.
Yeah, but it's sort of like you're supposed to go on the ride with. You're not supposed to like figure it out. It's more like it's a feeling movie, you know, like you
Yeah,
feel
definitely.
it with the character.
Uh-huh.
But and so she starts building up. It does a really creepy thing where she starts seeing Lewis, and then he goes in the mirror and he goes like this.
That's the first jump scare of the movie. It's like a really good one because
It's a good
because
jump
what
scare.
it is they do the framing is so good in this movie where like especially with reflections and
I mean, the cinematography
using-
in the movie slaps. It was a
yeah,
really good.
it's
cinematography.
really good. Like anytime they have like something that guy is looking at, it will always be you will always be behind her first, and the camera will rotate or move to where then you'll see what she's seeing. So it's behind her, and then she looks it's in front of her, and you can see him standing behind her, but his face is being covered by her head because that's how he died. He smashed his face in, and she like leans to the left, and he leans, and then she leans to the right, and then she does the smile thing, and it's like that's a freaky ass scene.
Yeah, and some of these smile scares did quite get me, and so now
That's the only one that like besides the like end of the movie that I'm like
Yeah.
that was a deserved scare. All
Yeah.
the others I thought were bullshit.
Yeah. But I thought some of I like the dancing, like all the people in like her room. That I like that. That was pretty.
That was
fun.
just a really cool scene.
Yeah.
And
But okay, and
Um,
so now she's sort of balancing. She has like this really kind of like terrible mom who just wants to use her for fame. And I was like,
Yeah.
that was a pretty strong like correlation for their commentary. I guess I could talk about later, but it was like she's dealing with her mom, and she has a new. This movie, guys, is essentially this is going to ruin the tour. The
it
movie.
is. It really is.
That's
It so
really
is.
funny. That's really funny. It's just
Guys,
the other
the smile
perspective.
demon's gonna ruin the tour.
Wait, so you're telling me it's like Trap, except instead of following the serial killer, this time we're following the pop star, and then at the end we swap to the serial killer instead of swapping to the pop star.
Sure.
Also, I want to say this really quickly, guys. There is so much Voss Water
It's
product placement.
funny. She drinks 8 glasses of Voss in this movie.
She's like,
Wait,
when-
was it sponsored or no?
Yes,
Definitely.
totally.
it was totally
Dude,
sponsored.
I brought Voss because I heard it was a thing in the movie. I took a shot every time she drank. I had to pee 3 times in the movie.
And
It's a really funny.
And so, dude, like she's like, my drug rehab counselor said every time I want to take drugs, I should just drink a cup of water. So obviously, I have a fridge full of Voss waters, you know.
In every room that I am in. Every room. And it's not like it has plot relevance. Like there's a scene when she drops it, like she breaks it, but then it's like doesn't happen, and then her friend shows up, Gemma. There's an important thing where like her like friend that she lost, like she kind of cut ties with. She thought she like swore her off.
Yeah, because she was like a drug addict and she was like treating her friends really badly, so she got rid of it. But now in this movie, now she's rehabilitated.
And she has no one to talk to. She turns to
She
her
wants to
friend.
reconnect, and so Gemma does come back, but Gemma doesn't realize. Sky and Gemma don't really realize what's happening with Sky because she's
Yeah.
like thinking, you know, it's like a sort of like she's just thinking she's going crazy or something, but it's actually a demon.
Yeah,
And,
but Gemma offers to stay the night. And this is when we have
And so this actually kind of works. She forgives Sky really easily, which kind of fits into later.
yeah, but she stays the night, and we have this scene of the car accident.
Yeah.
It's
And it's a really
I don't like these scenes. Like, no, they're really good, but like it's too real for me, and I thought it was real. It like really stressed me out. It really made me uncomfortable.
Oh,
like
when they're yelling at each other in the car?
no, like when she's in the car screaming for help
Oh.
with her
Oh,
broken
yeah.
leg and all bloodied, and he's dead.
Yeah.
That made me super uncomfortable, and it was fucked up what they did in the credits.
There's
What
credits.
did they do in the credits?
just overlaid the credits with her screaming for help. Like,
Oh
when-
yeah,
in the
I did see that.
accident.
That
It's literally her blood-curdling screams in the credits after she gets
Yeah.
in the car accident and just overlays over the whole credits. It
right.
was
They do
so
do that.
awful.
Something that's really cool about this movie is that the fact that I like that they don't oversaturate the boyfriend character,
No.
and I like the amounts they kept him in the movie. You know,
Yeah.
like they don't really kind of overdo the character. It's obvious like he's a demon. And something that's cool about this movie is that it shows that she's better now in the beginning of the movie, but she still hasn't dealt with the trauma at all.
Yeah.
And that's what the demon sort of feeds on. So I'll talk a bit about themes for right now. Essentially, in the first one, you could kind of say, yes, the movie, it does overlean on this idea of the smile demon being mental health. And yes, it's sort of an idea of how, when someone kills himself, it sort of just doesn't stop the pain, it just transfers it to someone else. It's a very, very clear metaphor. Totally. The first one. And so you could say there is the idea of sort of problematic messaging where it's all like, they end up killing themselves, like sort of saying mental illness wins in the end. And so I could see that way, but what
I don't think it wins in the end. I think it's just it's like hard to beat.
Yeah.
Without like having someone buy you, because that's one thing is that the characters in these movies don't really have anyone else. It's just them against this unknown thing.
And so that sort of feels to my more sort of approach, because while so it sort of ends with like, I'll get to more of like how it smells to it, but it ends with sort of, they both end the same kind of. And so what I think it is more like the fact that you guys don't deal with your trauma is how the smile demon beat you,
Yeah.
And so that's why if there's a third one or like a third and final one, I would suggest that like they finally defeat
They
the smile
defeat
demon
it,
by addressing their trauma. Because in both movies, they're clearly, they have trauma, but they're not dealing with it. And that's what the smile demon ultimately, it's kind of corny, but I feel like with sort of the positivity is how you defeat the smile demon or something like that.
I do think they literally need to do like a, you're not real. I've over.
Yeah.
I think they need. I literally do think they need like a Steven Universe ass.
Yeah. And it kind of works kind of pretty well for this sort of movie. And so it's like, it's a bit thin in the first movie, but it works way better in the second movie. The second movie adds also the layer of how we treat our youngest in the industry, and we sort of like, we make them to be these big things, and then we kick them out as soon as like they don't fit our narrative. Sort of how we chew these, like, we spit them out, we chew them up and spit them out. Our young new talent in Hollywood, sort of like that.
Yeah, it felt like a substance kind of.
Yeah.
It really reminded me of Messages from the Substance, but like from a different angle. But I think the Substance did it worse.
Yeah, I think this movie, and so works pretty well in that regard. I think it is like that. Like you could say the movie's messaging is incredibly simple, but that's fine. It's a horror movie. It's not supposed to be the thickest of commentaries.
The fact that there's like messaging at all is like,
it's pretty good, because like we're in an era where now like sort of these, they're more, because like in there's different eras of horror where it's like some is like we worked on body horror. A lot of like the old Night of the Dead, they work on like racism, war, stuff like that. But now we're like a lot of our horror movies nowadays are really focusing on commentary. So no like real slasher gores, except for maybe a Terrifier in there, which is just sort of an homage to the old sort of classic sort of body, no commentaries at all. But this was a pretty commentary filled movie, which I can respect that.
I thought that the like plot commentary, what it meant, was really, really good. And I think the only thing that was really was the fact that it's a terrifying movie. I think that if these movies were more just psychological rather than like jump scare horror, I think they would be way better.
Yeah.
Like if they just played more into the creepiness and unsettlingness rather than, oh, here's a still frame of her friend sleeping, and then it's gonna blast the car horn and her eyes become headlights and she wakes up and it's daytime now. Like if they, I don't know. But I think
that's fair. Yeah. But, and so let's get back to the story now.
Yeah.
And so,
So
she's
it-
like, she gets text from this guy, and she's like, "Who are you?" Because she thinks she's gonna get caught. She's like, "I saw you. Like, were you at Lewis's for Goalie's place?" And but then eventually she meets the guy who's texting, and he's like, "I know what you have. You have this like the demon with you, because my brother had it, and I didn't believe him. But now he died, so I've been following the people," which I thought was a really kind of sort of a nice idea. It was like finally having someone who knows what he's been through without like,
yeah.
because everyone who has this has died except for the first. There's one guy we saw in the first one who was like in prison because he did the thing where you kill
Yeah.
another person, and he was like he didn't want to do anything to do with it, but
Yeah, but
and
but
then
I
so
but he
but she's
shows
like,
up and he's like, hey, we can fix it, but I need to stop your heart, but I will resuscitate you because as long as it dies and we can bring you back,
yeah,
because all that it is that you need to die, and it'll go away. But then I'll bring you back. It'll be okay. And she's like,
no,
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 that's
no, I don't want
weird."
to do that.
And so
And
then
so she runs
leaves.
away, and then there's like there's like a bunch of news reports, and then she's like, it's like to everyone else, it seemed like she's going fucking nuts, you know?
There's
like,
just and there's just more scenes of her going crazy. She sees her dead boyfriend at like a thing that she's presenting at, and
okay, so let's talk about this scene for a little bit. This was like such a because I knew this scene was coming in the trailer. As soon as it was mentioned, like from the guy earlier, I was like, "Will you come to my ball?" I was like, "They're gonna do some smile ass shit in here."
it was a really good scene. So what it starts off with is she's introduced on stage, but a fly passes by her and she smudges her makeup. So already she's not looking the best, and she's distraught because things are stressing her out. And she just had a little foil with her mom, and she's like, "Mom, I'm
You can't
going
do it."
insane." And she's like, "No, honey, we built this empire, and we're not gonna destroy it."
A
And-
real stage mom. And then one
Yeah.
of the weirder powers of the smile demon is its ability to mess with teleprompters.
Yes, so it actually pauses her teleprompter, so she has to ad lib it, and she just goes off the rails about how she was a drug addict, and she's like, "Hey, you all look pretty good tonight, but not as good as me." And then the teleprompter comes back, and she's like, "Oh, sorry guys about all that. Anyway, let's welcome our guest, my dead ex-boyfriend."
And then she sees him come on stage, and he's doing the teethy smile, like.
Yeah, and then she starts yelling. She's like, "Don't do that. Get away from me." And then he like teleports behind her and grabs her shoulder, and she knocks a lady off the stage. And it's like a whole moment. She runs out.
Yeah. And then that's when she's like, you really know she's losing shit.
Yeah.
But then so she eventually like sort of after like a really really creepy scene where like it's a bunch of like smiling people in her apartment, she wakes up in like sort of a hospital.
Yeah.
And this was like I it's fine that they didn't stick with it, but I thought it was like really ballsy what they did in the hospital scene.
No,
But
I thought it was real. I'm okay with that. They didn't stick with it because they like at the point in the movie, it's okay that they didn't. Because
Yeah,
she
that's
wakes up
fair.
with a concussion and a black eye, and her mom is like, "Hey, who's ready to get back on stage?" And she's like, "Mom, I have a concussion. I'm going insane." And the mama's like, and she
Just
breaks
take
the
some
mirror.
Advil, you'll be
She-
fine.
She breaks the mirror and she slices her throat open, slices her face open, rips out her eye, and dies. And then this guy is like, uh-oh, and she tries to run out of the room. And then she looks down, and her hand was the knife. She killed her mom the whole time. So now her
Ooh.
mom is dead. She just killed her mom. And it's like,
And then it's like a really thrilling scene where she's trying to escape the hospital, but then fucking like guards come and she's like she grabs one of the guards' gun and she tries to escape, and her friend Gemma helps her drive. And so this actually
here's something interesting. Gemma stops responding to text at a certain point in the movie.
yeah.
She just doesn't ever respond to them. And this scene when she's driving her to meet, she's like, "Okay, I have to go meet the guy now." And so she goes to meet the guy. She's like, "Hey, I need you to drive." And she's like, "Okay." And then she realizes, as she like gets a phone call, she looks down at the phone. It's her friend calling her, but she's driving. So she answers the phone. She's like, "Hey, why the fuck did you call me? I hate your gas." And she hangs up. And then she says, and then her friend is smiling at her. And she's like, her friend
Oh.
hasn't been here the entire movie.
Aiden, they do the same fake out in the first one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were like, she's like, they finally thought they defeated the demon, and she's like at her apartment with the ex-boyfriend cop, and he's like, yeah, and then he starts smiling,
Oh.
and then like it's the same fake out. So this is my other one problem with the movie. They get a little too far with this gimmick of like you don't know what's happening. Like that's my like they go a little bit too far. Like, is this really happening or is this fake? Is this really happening or is this fake? Because they do like maybe 4 of those in this movie, and it's a
That's
bit
fair.
much for me. But it's part of the plot, so I can
Yeah.
get
But
rid
anyway,
of it.
she comes to and she's like, "Oh wait, I'm driving," and she meets the guy.
And so this is why I think our theory of like
No,
taking
at this
control.
point, no, yeah, she gains control. She's like, "Wait a minute, I'm driving. I'm the one in control. I'm gonna do this."
I think that would that would work well for our theory of like what the person needs to take over the smile demon is like I'm in control. You're not real. And so this was a glimpse of that.
I think every movie is having the steps that need to be succeeded. Like the third movie is the third and final step that needs to be succeeded,
Yeah.
and then it'll be like rounded out or whatever.
Yeah.
But she goes to the Pizza Hut where he is, and he's like, "It's the only place where there was a freezer. So I need to. So we keep you in the freezer. Slow down your brain. That way we have 9 minutes. I'm gonna kill you for 8 of them. Resuscitate you, and then we'll all be good. I have to go grab something real quick. Here's the needle I'm gonna stick in your neck to kill you. I'll be right back."
They also bring up
Oh,
this
no.
extraneous detail that doesn't really get fixed. Like it doesn't matter. I was like, I'm gonna put this cement block through between the door so it doesn't lock. Okay,
Yeah.
just putting that out there. You know.
They could have done something so cool with it where she sacrifices herself. So like, but
Yeah,
they don't.
But they don't do anything with that, which is
But-
fine because I do like the last scene a lot.
Yeah. But what happens is while she's lying on like a metal whatever table waiting for him to come back, blood starts dripping from the ceiling and she looks up and she sees her in the car crash hanging from the ceiling and she's all bloodied and stuff. She buckles her seatbelt and falls on top.
Wait,
Sling
can
and
we
fire.
talk about the scene with her and her boyfriend? I don't think we talked about that.
Oh no, where they're in the car together. Yeah.
So
That scene,
essentially, she
that
has
scene
like
was
a
hard to watch.
that scene was like a really great scene. It felt very very realistic. The scene, like
Oh yeah.
it was like sort of domestic, sort of like it's like Beck and Nikola essentially in this movie.
Yeah.
For the entire movie, I feel like maybe like she was the one driving and like maybe she got in the car crash and she and her boyfriend they really liked each other or something. That's what my thought of the movie. It was like she and her boyfriend liked each other a lot or something. But like they were talking in the car and they're both like drug addicts who fucking hate each other. Like you're a psycho, you're a psycho, you're a psycho. And it's like it's such a realistic sort of portrayal of this sort of toxic dynamic. It was amazing to watch, but it was so stressful and scary where she's like they're driving is like she goes nuts and she's the one who takes the wheel and like drives off the cliff and it
Yeah.
shows that she's the reason why this shit happened. And so she's the she is the cause of her own misery. And
Yeah.
it definitely plays in the idea of mental health in the movie. But finally, Aiden, you can finish the Pizza Hut scene.
So they're fighting the demon and the girl, and the demon tries to make her smile, and she's like, "No, I'm in control." And she bites its fingers off, and the freezer door shuts, and she takes it and she stabs the needle into her neck, and she kills herself. But then she wakes up, and the demon's like, "Actually, it wasn't real." And she wakes up, and she's on stage during the concert.
Her mom is alive.
Her mom is alive, and so it's like everything past when she first meets the Morris guy doesn't happen at the very
so
minimum.
that's what we're establishing doesn't happen.
Because I think there's no reason the Smile Demon would tell her how to defeat the Smile Demon.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a reason that would happen. I think the Morris scene happens,
And then
And I-
she's
and I don't think the concussion scene happens because when she's on stage, she doesn't have the black eye.
right.
So
Right.
I think the Morris scene is the final scene that actually happened.
Okay. And then she goes to like the concert, I guess.
Or like the when she's on stage and might also
Okay, but
be
when
real.
does she call? When does she call her
That one
friend?
is real because Morris happens after. She calls her friend really early in the movie. After
Mm.
like it's a day after she sees Lewis die.
Yeah. And so, Beck and Nikola, what do you predict happens in this final concert scene?
She kills herself on stage, and then the demon spreads to everyone in the concert.
So what happens is while she's on stage, she sees herself in her outfit. And I did think it was interesting that they put her in the outfit that she said she didn't want to wear because it made her feel ugly because ours. I thought that was an interesting detail that they put her in that outfit. But she sees herself also on stage, and it's the demon. She opens her stomach from where her scar is, and the demon crawls out. I do really like that the demon's in stop motion because it makes it a lot creepier.
And this demon is fucking scary looking.
It's nasty.
It's nasty. It's even it's much more. He's much larger in the second film. In the first film, it was kind of smaller, but they do the same motion of climbing into the mouth.
Yeah, so and it crawls into her mouth while she's on stage, and then it cuts to the general audience.
Which
They
is
see her on stage.
I love that they did this.
That we don't see the end from her perspective. I think that's really cool.
We hear a bunch of bashes. She bashes her head in with the microphone.
But we're just
then-
watching the crowd's reaction of her killing herself. Like we don't actually see. We just hear thud, thud, thud until she falls over, and then we cut back to her microphone through her eye.
And then the movie ends.
The movie ends there.
And so presumably this has to have a third one where it's all like essentially. So presumably, Nikola, as you were saying, this through the entire crowd, everyone must have it, presumably, right? And so this has to be sort of like a metaphor for like the growing mental health crisis, in like sort of the younger generations, or like sort of like in general the growing mental health crisis. So I can see a direct parallel they could do in the third one, where it's like maybe in the third one they follow a few people.
Yeah,
And like from the
we're all
and like
suffering together.
because this might be an exponential epidemic, something like that. Because like
I think that could be really interesting, but I don't know if they're gonna actually be able to do it.
I mean, I think like step up from regular person to pop star to like to more and more people is really cool.
Because
And
also like
I feel like yeah. I mean,
metaphors on like the COVID pandemic or something like that.
Yeah.
You know.
I really liked the angle with the pop star.
Yeah, it was
I
much
thought it was
funner
cool.
than the psychiatrist one. I get that's how you started with the first one, but
I saw the movie with my sister. She thought the first movie was better. She said the cinematography was bad.
What?
And
You're
that
cutting out.
used like she didn't. My sister didn't like that it was a pop star. She didn't like that there was like technology and Instagram used. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about because I thought like the cinematography was great. I really liked that she was a pop star.
I think it levels up the concept because now you can spread the demons so much farther.
Yeah, and it's just a different idea. But all I want to say is that Lady Raven could have defeated the Smile Demon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lady Raven could have defeated the Smile Demon, but I don't think
Oh,
Sky
right.
Riley could have
Honestly.
stopped the Butcher.
Yeah, I see that.
True.
I agree.
Well, that's all for 99.
No, there's not. There's one more thing.
What?
There's the Donald Trump movie.
Oh, let's talk about The Apprentice. Sorry, guys, another
Yeah.
20-minute tangent.
Sorry, guys. We have the Donald Trump movie also.
Okay,
Which
let's
me
talk
and
about
me
Aiden.
and Uri both thought were good too.
This is an Aiden and Uri episode. I haven't.
Exactly.
So Aiden, I'm kind of shocked that you like this movie. This does not seem like your type
I
of
am
movie.
too.
Yeah.
You're not the only one. I'm also shocked that
Dude, it's a very businessy movie, so I'm kind of weirded out that you liked it. It's a pretty business heavy movie.
it's pretty business heavy, but it's also like really funny and
It is really funny.
it's a hilarious movie because you will have a very
Sorry,
it's the Donald Trump. It's like the most serious scene. Then Donald Trump is like, "Yes, but I'm too fat. Don't you see? Look, I'm taking these medications that make me not fat. Diet pills. I don't ever have to sleep ever again. Father, how's your dementia going?"
There's not really much to say for this movie, I think, but in sort of like that regard. But like essentially, the story of Donald Trump, as we sort of know it, was like sort of in the 80s. Like he's just like he's like doing his like Trump apartment buildings. He's like inherited from his father, but then so he meets like during a lawsuit, him and his company is having that could destroy the company. He gets one of like New York's most crooked, sort of like greedy ass corporate lawyer, not sort of lawyers who works for the mob and was a big guy in McCarthyism, which is really ironic for later in the movie. Where but and Roy Cohen is played by Jeremy Strong from Succession.
Yeah.
And he does a really, really good job as Roy Cohen. Like, his movements are so funny. He's like he's almost like he like bobbles his head a lot in the movie, which I loved. Like,
He says,
oh yeah,
Donald
yeah.
Trump, how are you going, Trump? And he says,
How-
oh, I need your help. And he's like, anything for you, my friend. Anything for
And-
you.
And Sebastian Stan plays Donald Trump. And I'm gonna say something first about both of these performances. They worked really well as sort of like a dynamic relationship. Like, I like that Sebastian Stan didn't do like a caricature of
No.
Trump. He did. He had like a Trump twinge to it that definitely evolves as he progresses into more of the Trump we know today.
Oh, it's so funny. Over the course of the movie, he progressively gets more fat, more bald, more orange. It's really funny.
They really
And
planned this shit out.
And so, this movie is what I would say a prime example of. This is a Frankenstein movie. You know, this is a Dr. Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster. This is such sort of that type of movie where it's all like Roy Cohen is essentially this like guy who's creating this menace in society, but then he's like shocked when sort of like the demon turns on himself. And
Yeah.
I thought that was it's a Frankenstein movie at its core, and I really enjoy that element of the movie.
I
But,
I really liked seeing Trump's rise to power as he pushes everyone away.
Yeah,
Like he has a real bond with people like his father,
his brother.
his brother Robert, his wife, until it's like, oh, his brother is actually a loser and he doesn't care for him. And his dad has dementia. And he takes advantage of that. And his wife, he hates his wife, so he rapes her. And Robert is gay, and so he stays away and stops calling him. And he gets AIDS, and he's like,
Yeah.
not until he's dying and on his deathbed does Donald Trump reach back out.
And so this movie sort of chronicles that period in the 80s where Donald Trump is rising, and Roy Cohen is basically giving him a how-to of how to become the most like sort of guy he is. Because like I think what I appreciate about this movie is that it could have gone a very easy route of just like passing judgment and sort of just being a very kind of like a mawkish movie about this movie, but it does so in a way that it doesn't really pass judgment. It humanizes the characters without like giving him leniency. And I thought that's
Yeah.
really smart. It is a reason why, unfortunately, the movie is not doing well because pro-Trump people do not want to see the movie, and other Trump people, left, I guess, side, they're tired of Trump, so they don't want to watch the movie. So nobody's watching the movie, so it's doing kind of poorly in the box office. So, but it's more of an Oscar-y movie, though, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was giving that vibe.
It's
yeah, it's probably gonna go
it's,
to Oscars, do well, and then people are gonna watch it.
it's also
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't say it's too political, right?
No, it's not that political.
It's not at all.
It's not a political movie in like a lot of senses. It's more of an indictment on humanity as a whole.
Yeah.
And how we create these figures in our sort of human race, not in like a political way, just like how we let these sort of people evolve into what they are.
Yeah.
And I thought that's a really smart choice. But it's like, so he like Roy Cohen's a sort of method to Trump, which is sort of how he brings it into the movie. Where so like I have 3 rules for you: attack, 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 and that's a big thing. Well, another one was like never, no matter how screwed you are, you never admit defeat, and it's really jarring because that's how we see in the way our current how Trump was in these past years. We see how it's evolved into our current president, which is sort of just a mutated version of how he was in the 80s, and how it's just become so more like how he's demonized himself into such a menacing figure on our world and our planet. And this movie was just sort of an indictment at how we let these figures be created, because eventually in the movie, what I like about this movie, Aiden, is that Roy Cohen, he used blackmail to like people that others are gay or something like that when he was gay himself.
Yeah.
Oh,
And Nikola and Beck, he dies of AIDS, and he died in real life of AIDS. And
I like
And-
looked him up on Wiki. I looked him up, and it was like that was something he was very adamant about. Is that he didn't have AIDS.
Yeah,
How
but
that he was-
he obviously
unfaithful.
died of AIDS, which
Yeah.
is like, and so it just shows like ultimately it doesn't always pay to be this evil conniving guy when you in the end he died
Yeah.
of something he hid that he also used to maliciously attack others.
Yeah.
This movie is also incredibly funny.
It's
a
so
fun-
good. Like Trump goes to a doctor and he's like, "All right, I'm bald here. My stomach's too fat. Let's fix that." And the doctor's like, "Okay, let's suction. We will sew your head together." And he's like, "Also, is AIDS contagious? Like, if he touches me, am I gonna be okay?" And the doctor's like, "Yes, you'll be fine."
They also do a scene where they show him his head being sewn, and that was
It was
nasty.
nasty. They didn't need to do that.
They did not need to do that, but
They show him like his stomach getting cut open and then like taking out the fat. And it's like, oh,
Oh my
bro,
god.
they didn't need to do that. It was grosser than a lot of scenes in like Smile.
yeah, and but it's just like a really kind of like sort of genius movie. I think might be overlooked because of this current election.
Yeah, I really liked how a lot of the things he throughout
Yeah,
the
based off
movie.
of what it sounds like, it just really does seem like a type of movie that like post-election people are gonna look at retrospectively and realize it's good.
But
I think they wanted to release it now just because, like, you know, it is an election and they're like, hey, maybe this will help us. But I feel like it's kind of to their detriment.
No, it's to their detriment definitely because it's like it's a movie that it's not political at all. The movie really, but
No.
it's all like because of the figures, it's sort of being branded as that, which is pretty unfortunate.
yeah, but I was gonna say I really like how everything he learns in the movie, he continues to learn. He continues, and before long, just steals it as his own idea. Like at the end of the movie, he like is pitching Art of the Deal, and it's a very funny scene. He's like, "Dealing is an art," and the author's like, "Art of the Deal," and he's like, "Yeah, that's good." And here's what we go by, and he lists the three key things to success that Robert teaches him earlier in the movie, and he's like, "Hey, where did you get that?" And he's like, "I made it up." Like he just steals shit.
Yeah,
Like,
and then the last shot of the
shit
movie.
loser.
Yeah. In the last shot of the movie, it's like the glint of New York in his eye, which is a really smart move. Like, I'm gonna take over this place, essentially.
Yeah.
Was in yeah. And like it shows that like this movie like it humanizes Trump in a way that it doesn't like the way we know Trump is such a different version than he was in like the 80s, but it shows how he sort of became that. And like how
Yeah.
he became that piece of shit loser who steals ideas and all that. Because at least Roy was original, you know?
Yeah, I do like the naming convention of the movie being called The Apprentice show that he had, while
Yeah.
also being he's the apprentice of Roy. And then
Yeah.
I don't know. It was
Yeah, it-
real good.
It definitely is sort of like an American horror story in a way. I kind of see it as
Like the
sort of how
show.
yeah, no. But it's a funny movie. I suggest Nikola and Beck. It's a pretty fun time.
Oh, yeah.
Is it only
I-
in theaters right now?
I plan to go this weekend, try to knock out a lot of movies that
I'd
I've
only on-
recommend seeing it. It's very
I
good.
Is it
gotta
only in
do
theaters
piece
right
by
now?
piece. I gotta do Apprentice. I gotta do Smile. A lot of stuff.
You really watch Smile too, Beck. You're a scaredy cat though.
It scared the shit out
I-
of me.
I
You're not-
do want to tell you that during Happy Death Day, my friends looked at me as like, "What the fuck?
They don't know
This
Beck
is not
yet.
a scary." Yeah, they did not know how much of a scaredy cat I was. I was like
Beck.
gripping the back of my chair like this when I knew there was a jump scare coming, so I didn't jump out of my
You're
seat.
not gonna like Smile because here's what they do in Smile. Every time there's a jump scare, they just wait a little bit longer for the jump scare to happen. Like the first one, you know what happens, it happens. The second one, it's like, all right, there's gonna be a jump scare. Where's the jump? And then the third one is like, all right, scare. And then they do a little small one, and you're like, oh, there's the jump. And then they get you again. And then there's one where she watches a phone. You are watching her watch a phone, and then she watches the video, and then the guy shows up after you watch the video on the phone. And that one was bullshit. That was a bullshit jump scare. None of them were the only ones that were the first and last ones.
Okay, well at least I know that they're upcoming.
Beck, but you're gonna be scared by this, definitely.
I I'll just see it. Maybe if I have time, I'll see it.
No,
But
like, I really want you to see Smile 2, though.
It is really good.
Okay.
It's a really good movie. I would rate it a 4 out of 10 or a 4 out of
Yeah.
5 if it wasn't scary.
yeah, you guys did describe it really intriguingly.
I legitimately think it's a detriment that it is a full-on horror movie. If it was just a psychological horror, it'd be okay.
Okay.
I think that's real.
Guys,
Wreck.
That's 99.
Wreck.
That's
I think
99.
the recommendation
I
is
think
Every
people say
single
this.
other episode of the Celsius podcast in preparation for episode 100.
Yes.
Also, watch Smile, the original. You know?
Or just watch
I-
every episode of the Celsius podcast.
or
We'll
watch the
see you
Apprentice.
in 100 next week.
In 100
Guys-
next week.
The
Next week.
the activity in 100 is